There we go.
Yep.
Okay, we have it. Siman Kuf Chav Beis. So the dinim in Shiva Asa B'Tammuz ad Tisha B'Av. The halachas from Shiva Asa B'Tammuz until Tisha B'Av, Yud Zayin Sifrim. Yeah. So Kivan Shiva Asa B'Tammuz is Chilut Tzaras HaChurban. Since by Shiva Asa B'Tammuz the Tzaras of the Churban started, L'chein Noyeg and Ktsas Aveilus Miyom Zeh ad Achar Tisha B'Av. We're Noyeg a little bit of Aveilus from there until after Tisha B'Av. V'roi L'chol Yirei Shemayim Lases Tikun Chatzois. I was actually thinking the last year to try this. Chatzois hayoim, right? I'm saying what it shouldn't. It's not. You didn't ask for chatzois halayla, right? Chatzois hayoim, right? I think in Yerushalayim they do this. Some like in the Shtibelach, I think they get it. They have like they do a tikkun chatzois. Right? Okay, but anyway, so every year Shemaim should do Tikkun Chatzos. The belt doesn't do that. I saw from one of the Lakewood Poskim, one of those that asked the Shetels, but that's for the daf. I came up with Azad, Lishi Tosam, for the daf. It's negate to the daf, so we'll leave it for that. But Lakewood Poskim that said that he quoted from the Alta from Kelm, I think, who said even though we don't do Tikkun Chatzos, but when you say the bracha V'nei Yerushalayim or Kodesh, you should say it with more kavana. Like this, it's a little bit more. You know, it puts a chashivas of chashivas of the what do you call of the 3 weeks. All right, parrots. I hit record. Yeah. So then he brings here from the side of Sharash Avodah that you should not have litzon, like he doesn't say litzonas, but he says you should talk less, and you shouldn't have your mouth full with jokes and stuff like that in the 3 weeks, and you should try and make yourself a little bit punished, right? And also not to do anything that's overly dangerous. Yeah. And obviously learn more, but we're going to get that fine. Yeah. And be Marvin and Ava. Okay. So then let's see what. Saying nice and nashim, afilu mi shadaim lakia mitzvahs pruruvu. Right? You shouldn't even, which is the truth be told, it's an unbelievable halach. You have somebody who has not been mekayim pruruvu, which is a mitzvah daraisa, and we're knocking it out for 3 weeks, right? And with Sfira, you're knocking it out for what? 7? You're knocking out almost 2 months a year that somebody can get married for these things. Yeah? But it's a Ramah. The Mechaber doesn't really say it. Yeah? But okay, but that's what it is. That's the reason why we do this is because of the Churban. Avalasa Shidduchim, but to do dating or to make a shidduch, afilu besuda mutter ad Rosh Chodesh, even with the suda, it's mutter to Rosh Chodesh and Rosh Chodesh ve'elach afal gav the mutter gam kein lasa shidduchim, and even though it's mutter in the 9 days, also lasa suda, it's still also to do a suda. But we're allowed to eat. You shouldn't make a suda like a tanaim. It's not negated to the Litvish. We don't make a suda anyways. But you eat. You can eat some snacks. Yeah. And most say that even if you're going to do that, you should not have dancing. You shouldn't be dancing. Somebody makes a lachaim or a bar in the 3 weeks, and then there should be no dance. Yeah, but singing bepeh, that's allowed. Oh, so Yisrael Shapar Nasa Shalai B'Klei Zemer. Let's say a guy is a musician, right? And but obviously he's a musician for Goyim, not for Yidden, because why would Yidden be having music? Mutter Lazar V'Vesai V'Kechavim B'Ktei Parnasasai Ad Rosh Chodesh. He's allowed to play music for his parnasa. Rosh Chodesh ad achar tainis aser, and from Rosh Chodesh till after the tainis it's aser. But Yom Shiva aser b'tamas atzmei gam kein aser. That's also aser. B'chein aser b'teves, and on aser b'teves also. Right. So there's a lot. This is actually a fairly common question. Can a kid take music lessons, or a kid who's learning how to play a musical instrument, right? Is he allowed to continue those music lessons in the 3 weeks? Right. So if it's just learning, meaning if it's painful to listen to a kid who's learning how to play an instrument, right? So if he's holding at the beginning stages, so then that's for sure okay. That's for sure okay. But in stages that come after that, then and they're actually legitimately playing music, so then it's not so simple. Yeah. But okay, so there's a chilukei deis with that, with the poskim, whether it's allowed or not. Most of the time, it doesn't qualify as legitimate music, right? Fine. Yeah. So then also he brings on the bottom here that let's say a guy is in your house listening to music, you mechuyev to make him stop, right? I mean, mechuyev to make him stop, so then you're not mechuyev. Right. Fine.
Yaakov,
Yeah.
I don't know if I should bother you, but I don't understand this thing that you say you could listen to classical and inspirational music, but I can't listen to the Beatles or ZZ Top. What? Why?
Who says you can? No, who says you can't?
You wrote that. That's what you wrote in the tweet. You can only listen to inspirational music.
No, so who the Beatles are not
music.
Rabar, I'm going to one up you. The Beatles are not inspirational?
They are. I mean,
okay,
blues music. So anything I have, so I can listen to blues music.
Meaning music that you're not going to get up and dance. Music that you're going to appreciate it, right?
Okay, fine. So blues music, you don't dance to. I just miss like from smoking a cigar and drinking some bourbon while I listen to it. But
right.
Yeah, it's not the. It's just music that you dance to?
Yeah, right. They're meaning slower music, like this type of thing that does not require you to get up and dance. You just, but even that, the person can say it's you've done it if necessary, not you shouldn't just stop do it if you feel that you need it. You know what I mean? You need a break. You know what I'm saying? A camp, not the camp that I'm in, the waiters asked if they're allowed to listen to music while they set up. They work a lot better. Right? It's an interesting question, no? And also a lot of people when they're working at a computer a whole day, they like to keep music on in the background. So that's not nigun shel simcha. That's you're using it to be able to, right? Yeah. So then that would be much. Personally, I don't understand the poskim. All the poskim say that when you're doing exercise, you're allowed to listen to fast music even. Yeah. I personally, I don't understand it. I don't understand because why are you listening to music when you exercise? Why? Because you wanted to get you going, right? You wanted to get the heart pumping. Isn't that
not a lot of exercises on the call?
What?
Not a lot of exercises on the call, apparently.
Not a lot. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I get. Yeah, we're not from the big exercises, but I'm saying, but when you're doing that, it's essentially a form of dancing, isn't it? So I'm not going in a circle. I'm not going in a circle. So I'm on a treadmill. So what that should? I mean, that's a form of dancing. To me, is daiti. I mean, I'm not gonna. When people ask, I say, yeah, because that's what.
It's no different than while you.
That's the one guy who exercises. He's on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Apple Watch man himself. Yeah. So what
there
do you say?
Go. It's not for dancing purposes. It's no different than a waiter. It's no different than driving or just background music. It's the same idea.
That's I don't know. Dad, that's the reason. Don't they have every exercise class has got this pumping music to get people going?
Okay.
No? Why is that not dancing? Why is that not dancing?
Why? Because that's not the purpose of what you're doing.
What,
I don't see it different than the waiters setting up.
Yeah, okay. So the place can
Yeah.
obviously agree with you. They're not siding with me, but right. I don't know. I
We'll
thought
go
that
one
it-
time. You'll see.
Go what, to an exercise class?
No, for a run.
But the Peloton does go by tempo. But they actually tell you the tempo to the music to the cycling.
That's not. Yeah, right. I don't know, Dave. I don't know.
It's the
I
same
hear what
thing.
you're
No,
saying.
same thing with the runs. You go with
Let
the
me tell
longer
you,
run,
Dave.
you have slower
You know
music.
why I don't
You go with that.
exercise? You know why I don't exercise? Even though I always say I'm going to try, is because I listen to shiurim while I exercise. So you see how much I exercise, right? And that's also background noise, and that's also it takes my mind over. And you just go, but it's a gatenish. What should I tell you? It's a gatenish.
Happens to be I mostly listen to podcasts and shiurim also, so it's background.
Okay, so you're
That's really
yochid b'dorah. You're yochid b'dorah.
apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is. Fine. So then, let's see. Weiter. V'yesh noigin shaloi lech al bas v'leilas shis yam yeshivas b'tamas ha'achar Tisha B'av im loy b'Shabbos oy b'sudas mitzvah. Rafe, Reb Rafe, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. Anyways, so there are those that are noig not to eat basar or drink wine from Shivas b'tamas, right? Except for Shabbos or Sudas mitzvah, which is interesting. I was working on this a little bit earlier today. I don't understand. It's like this. We should have said it as a hakdama. There's 3 levels of avelus. There's basic 3 levels of avelus. There's the 3 weeks, which is seemingly designed after the year of avelus, right? Then there's the 9 days, which is seemingly, give or take, designed after shloshim, right? We should never know from these things. And then there's Tisha B'av, which is Shiva, right? Because we sit on the floor, and except for the 9 days, there's no meat or wine, which is a din of einim, right? It's even more than Shiva, which doesn't really. I mean, to have aninus for 9 days, right? I mean, obviously you can't have aninus, but I'm saying that I don't understand why they asked wine and meat for the 9 days. And Kol Sheken, according to this sheet that the Kitzur is bringing them from the whole 3 weeks, right? It doesn't seem to fit into the pattern of the other takanas. Anybody have any idea why they were socking it that way? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Could it be because you're going into
no,
Tisha B'av?
Well,
If you're saying going to Tisha B'av is connected to Shiva, then Aninus goes into that. No,
No, Aninus is before Shiva, but you're having 9
exactly.
days.
So
Yeah,
you have
but
9
this-
days that before, so you have to have that component as a part of it. Can't do it afterwards.
Is this meat and yain? Is the Sfardim is only shvu shechal boy?
I think it's only Shusha. I
That's
think,
very close. That's very close to aninus.
but it's true. But Aninus normally lasts a few hours. Aninus is a deraisa dikadin,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know. There's another interesting thing. What about Shechianu? Shechianu is the whole 3 weeks. You're not supposed to buy anything that you make Shechianu. So that the place can have a reason. They say, how can you say Shechianu v'kiyimanu v'giyonu lazman hazeh about what? That the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed? That you're happy that you lived till, I mean, obviously you're happy that you're living, but the point is, that I got my Yom Tif, we make Shechianu because we're so happy that we got to live to see another Yom. Right?
That was there's a lot of stories from the log of people making those kind of brachas during the Churban. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's what the Shulchan Aruch says there. You shouldn't make Shechianu because how can you say you want to be? How can you live a Shechianu? You want a Shechianu like this, right? There's stories with the Holocaust of people with the Shechianus, right? So that is a reason. I just haven't come across yet a reason why Basar v'Yayin is more than whatever. It's Aninus. It's not even Shiva. Shiva's mutter Basar v'Yayin. Contrary to what a lot of Avelim think, they hear that when they're an Einin, they can't eat meat and wine. So then they think they can't drink wine the whole shiva. It's not true. You're allowed. They're allowed to drink wine during the shiva. Yeah. Yeah. Fine. Okay. So that's the first thing. Then phase. Noyigin shal here is right. So that's the next parak. The next sif. Noyigin shem mevarchin shechiyanu b'yomil. The minig is that we don't make shechiyanu. V'lochein. This is probably the number one shaila that gets asked. Between this and the music or the exercise, this next thing is the number one shaila. I mean, try to take shopping away from an American for 3 weeks, and they go totally berserk, right? You should not buy and not wear a beged chadash, right? Because you have to make a bracha shechiyanu on it. We have our pidyon ben, it's a mitzvah. Pidyon ben, we do make shechiyanu because that's when it falls out. Better, we don't want you to push off the pidyon ben till after, right? Which is quite an interesting thing. So we'll say you make the pidyon ben and with the shechiyanu, and you don't push it off, right? So. But a chasana from a guy who wasn't Mekayim Pru that you do push off. Right? What a pidyon ben is supposed to be done on day 30. No, so let's say the pidyon ben comes out in the middle of the 9 days. So you want to make a shechiyanu, make the pidyon ben and a week later. So when the baby's 40 days old. Right? I would think that that's less important than somebody getting married. No?
That started 30 days prior.
What do you mean?
I mean, you had in mind 30 days prior, which was not during the 9 days. So that whole hoop of simcha really began way before.
And by the Puravu, it had been a year before.
But that's in your control also.
Maybe that's only time. Like, so get married before. Right? Meaning you.
Why doesn't it mention
that's
bris?
that what you're saying, Dave? A pidyon ben comes out when it comes out, and a wedding doesn't. That's.
Yeah, I mean, there's a control. One you're in control of, one you're not. But there's also, it starts way before. It's not like you chose that day.
So what? But what's the
you choose that day?
Well, yeah, but the kids are saying what? There's no isser you're doing. I mean, you're not making an isser either by pushing off a wedding, but all you're doing is it's shaloi lahachmitz as a mitzvah. It shouldn't be machmitz the mitzvah. Okay, it's not so important, but it's just, the point is
why is it in the Shechianu not mentioned before? Just is not a Yom Simcha? Like before, talking about things that you're not supposed to do because it brings you simcha, you're supposed to have some resemblance of a veilus in the first sif. Now we're talking about Shechianu. Only here it mentions pidyon ben. It could be mentioned earlier. Is the Shechianu the question, or having pidyon ben the question?
No, when you make a pidyon ben, you make a Shechianu.
I understand, but is the Shechianu the issue, or is it having a pseudo simcha with the pidyon ben the issue?
No. It's the Shechianu.
They're the same.
The issue.
By virtue of the fact that you're making a shechianu, which means you're a simcha, no? Isn't that the point?
Yeah. No, but the point is saying the shechianu, right? There's nothing. What is if you're making? You can make a huge party. It's a strange halacha. You can make a huge party of a pidyon ben or a bar mitzvah and all that. As long as you don't say shechianu, you're okay. Right? And so the reason for that is because you just can't say the words shechianu b'kiyumah v'giyonu b'lazman hazeh. It doesn't make any sense that you live to see the Beis Hamikdash destroyed. Right? It's just that bracha that's an issue. Yeah. So that's what it's saying. But anyways, what is it? Let's say you come across a fruit. It's a one-time deal. So then he says on Shabbos you can make the shechiyanu. Yeah, and then he finishes off. You're not supposed to hit the kids. Yeah, I don't think that's Masonah anymore either. Now what's the story with buying clothing and new items in the 3 weeks? So the Kitzur is saying that because because you make a shechianu when you buy new clothing, so memela you can't buy new clothing. It's mashma that if you don't make a shechianu on clothing, for example, cheap clothing, or for myself, I never make shechianu on clothing. It doesn't make me feel the least bit good to have any sort of new clothing, right? So then what? So then that means you're allowed to buy. So you have two guys. One guy makes a shechianu on a new suit. He can't buy a new suit. The other guy doesn't make shechianu on new suits. He can go buy himself a $10,000 suit. Doesn't make a difference, right? That's l'chayra what comes out, right? And that's the way we do. Yeah, what are you saying?
Why doesn't that apply for someone who doesn't like meat or someone who doesn't like wine?
What does that mean?
Meaning, if this is subjective, why isn't everything subjective?
It's all, that's what I'm saying. It's all about the shechianu. That's what this is. It's all about the shechianu. Right? It's not about what got you to the shechianu. It's just about saying the word shechianu. So if you don't say the word shechianu, so then memela, you're allowed to buy suits. Right?
So you're saying it's not the value of the suit.
Correct. It's all about the bracha, seemingly according to those shittas. According to the Kitzur, and according to
a guy who buys, Kaseda buys biryani suits for $5,000, but he never makes shechianu because that's what he's used to. So, okay.
Then he's okay, right? That's what comes out.
I thought it was when you use it, not when you buy it.
Okay, either one. So it's either when you buy it or you
I thought
wear
you
it.
said when you buy it, you live in Nazareth.
No, some make shechianu when they buy it, some make shechianu when they wear it. Either one, whatever situation you put yourself in, whatever situation you put yourself in that would cause you to make a shechianu, then you can't do it. All right?
What about Tovia Metiv? Does that apply?
What?
Hatovia Metiv, does that apply at all?
No, so that's a good point. Thank you for reminding me. So Hatoiva Metiv, when do you make Hatoiva Metiv? Hatoiva Metiv is that when it's two people benefiting from this thing, so then you make Hatoiva Metiv, right? So Lamashal, if you buy a suit, what are you saying?
I'm sorry, but Shabbos we drink wine. So then you make it. So then
that's what he's bringing. He brings a makilim that you can make shechianu on Shabbos. He doesn't.
No, I'm saying Toiva Metiv. He's asking Dave Toiva Metiv. So if you have
two
different wines,
there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with making a Toiva Metiv in the. Let's say you buy something that's for you and your wife to benefit from. So you don't make shechianu, you make a Toiva Metiv, right? Let's say a new car. That's a big tumble in the Paiskim. Can you buy a new car? So Ramosha says if it's a new car that you don't really need the new car, but you're just in the you geschmack. You got yourself a new car. Ramosha says you shouldn't get it in the 3 weeks, even though Lamaisa, if it's the car for the husband and the wife together, then there's no shechianu. It's a toiva metiv, and a toiva metiv you are allowed to make in the 3 weeks, right? So that's also an interesting thing. But he brings it from Del Yerava, and Ramosha Feinstein seems to go with it also. Is that anything that's going to be a real feel-good item, even though you're not going to make shechianu on it, you shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't buy in the 3 weeks. It's better not to, right? But so Lamaisa buying, let's say, shirts and pants that are cheap and socks and underwear and these type of things, that's mutter till the 9 days. That's definitely mutter. Although some say if it makes you feel good, you shouldn't buy it, right? Yeah, fine. Okay, so let's see the next. Yeah, let's see.
Rabbi, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
So my wife's car kept breaking down. So the lease was up this July. Friday, I get a call that there was a car available, and I just got the lease. Is that a problem?
No, because she needs it, right? I'm assuming she needs a car.
Right.
No?
Yes, she does.
If you really need it, so Ramosha says you can buy it. It's only if you don't need it.
Normally,
Meaning if it's just like what?
Are you supposed to say a shechianu on a car on a lease? It's not you're not keeping it. You're kind
Oh,
of.
so all right, very good, Harold. Very good. Right? That was a good horror. Nowadays, who buys a car straight out, brand new one? Even the wealthy, right, take a loan, I think. Right? So once you take a loan, then there's no shechianu on it anyways, because the bank really owns the car. Right? So you're right, Harold. So then there's no shechianu on a lease or anything like that. So the maker adin out the shechianu, it's no problem. Only thing is, this thing like this din of Ramosha that says that nice things you shouldn't buy, then that's the issue. But Ramosha says if you need a car is a regular daily. It's you need a car. You have to buy the car. So that's what Ramosha says. Yes, thank you.
That's what
Thank
Rav
you.
told the shy elephant. He asked him that on the house.
What?
Shaya asked Rav Bick when he bought his house if he should make a shechianu. So he says, "Call me in 30 years when you get rid of your partner. Then we'll."
Yeah, that's how he said it. Very good.
Yeah, he said it in Rav Bick fashion.
100%. That's great. That's great. Okay, let's just do one more, and then the other's got to go down mincha. You have v'chein noigen shein mistapen b'yom elu. You're not allowed to take haircuts. Lo yisaris harosh, not the head. The lo yisar zakon, and not the beard. Yeah. The loy kol seir shebegufay, and not body hair. Now, v'asar legedolim misabras ketanim, and it's asur for gedolim to give haircuts to ketanim. All right. Now, what about an Ashkenazi to a Sephardi? I had quite a few people ask that to me. So the Sephardim take haircuts. See, a katan, the reason why I was saying you shouldn't give to a katan is because a katan, we try and train them into the Avelus too. Right? But with a Sephardi has it mutul lechatchila for him, I don't think there's enjoyment of an Ashkenazi giving a haircut. Although, I don't know, Dave disagreed with me on the exercise, so maybe there is some sort of enjoyment of giving somebody a haircut. I don't think so, but yeah.
I mean, you can make cases where it'd be enjoyment. If you have a Sephardi, a chacham, and you're a barber, so it's a covet to you to give to whoever, whoever the chacham is, established chacham. It's good for your. It's good for your resume. You take a picture and put it on the window, the wall of your barbershop.
Right. No, I hear that. But okay, that would be a very specific situation. But yeah. So it is another thing about nowadays. I hate to say it. There's so many questions about males doing hair removal of their body, eyebrow waxings and fixing all that stuff. And body and all that, right? Now, so we all make fun of it, right? But what's the lashon of the Kitzur? The loy kol seir shebegufay. What is he talking about? What seir shebegufay? If a man is not allowed to shave or cut off the hair on the body, so then what seir is he talking about? Unless he's talking about women, right? But it doesn't sound like it because it's saying a roish and the beard. Right? And the hair on the body. Right? So I don't know. I don't understand it, but women, what about women? So Taka, what's the story of women's hair removals? Right? Rav Shlomo Zalman seems to answer it. I'm sorry, Rav Shlomo Zalman and Rav Moshe matter it, and Rav Yashav answered it. Yeah, but taking a haircut for tznius, that's certainly allowed. Yeah. So that's that. That's what. But I think the minig in the Welt is that the women could do body removal, hair removal. I'm sorry, not body removal. Right? Okay, one more because it's hair removal. Hasafa el yonish b'zakon. the mustache, kol shema'akav achila, if it's ma'akav achila, nearly the yesh lahatir legalchoy. He says it's mutter to shave it ad hashvua shechal by Tisha B'Av until the shvua shechal by Tisha B'Av, which this year is non-existent because it's one day. Al b'shvua shechal by Tisha B'Av yesh lesa, you should say it's also, right? Yeah, fine. Okay, I guess we'll stop here and we'll be back on for the daf.
So quarter two, daf's a
Yeah.
quarter two.
Yeah. All right, fine. Shkoyach. Yuri, good seeing you.